Welcome back. We're ready to start talking about how to calculate the mode, which is our third central tendency statistic. Remember, the mode is the most frequently occurring item in the list or in the collection of data. We're going to do this with dictionaries. So let's return to that challenge. We're going to use the dictionary to keep track of how many times every element occurs and then return a list of those elements that occur most frequently. So let's take a look at listings 4.6 and 4.7 and note that there is an alternative approach listed in the second one using that default not found value in the get method call. So let's take a look at that. 4.6, here's our first idea for the mode function. So we're creating this mode function that takes in a list. Our dictionary starts out empty. For every item in the list, if the item's already in the dictionary, then we just increment its count by 1. Otherwise, we're going to initialize its value to 1, which means that's the first time that it's been found. Okay? So that's their beginning, and then they go from there. Now we've got the dictionary. Now we need to find is the value that's the maximum value. So I get my values from the dictionary, find their maximum value, create a node list, and then for every item in the dictionary, if it has that max count, add it to the node list and return it back. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at that first. We'll look at it run, and then we'll look at the option, the alternate version here in a second. So this is our new piece, and if we ask it to work, finds that the 1 in this data is the most frequently found one, and in this second one, the 4 and the 5 are tied. And in our earthquakes list, the mode is the 37. Okay? Now, here, let's look at our alternative way here. So I'm going to, for the moment, comment these people or these lines out here. And our idea in this situation, we're looking through the list and we were just checking to see if the item was in the dictionary and if it was, incrementing it. Well, we can use that get method to do the same thing. So I can do this. I can say that the count dictionary at that item is equal to whatever I get from the dictionary, countdic.get item with a default value of 0 plus 1. So in that situation, if the item is in the dictionary, I'll get its count, add 1 to it, place it back in the dictionary. If the item isn't in the dictionary, I'll get back a 0 because I specified that here as the return value, add 1 to it, which will be 1 the first time I've seen it, and set that in my dictionary. So redefine the function that way. Let's see if we get the same answers. 1, 4, and 5, and 37 for the earthquakes. Okay, now let's take a look at the statistics version of this. In our version, we don't have, our version of Python, we don't have statistics.multimode. We just have statistics.mode, and that statistics.mode only works if there's only one value. So if I run this statistics.mode on the first list that we looked at that had one mode, I get the value of 1 back, which is what I expect. But in this situation where I had 2 that were the same, the 4 and the 5 are both most frequent, I will end up with an error. Okay? And, the reason is that the mode really is usually taught as only being one element rather than multiple elements. Doesn't really matter for our purposes because, again, what we're trying to learn is how to use the coding rather than how to do statistics. That's a different class. All right. In our next video, then, we're going to start looking at frequency distribution.